A story of perseverance. Sarah stared at the mountain before her, its peak disappearing into the clouds. 10 years ago, doctors had told her she would never walk again after the car accident. Yet here she stood, with climbing gear strapped to her back and determination in her heart. "You're crazy," her brother had said when she first shared her dream of climbing Mount Rainier. "After everything you've been through, why risk it?" But Sarah knew why. Every painful physical therapy session, every failed attempt to take a step, every tear of frustration had led to this moment. The mountain wasn't just a mountain. It was every impossible thing she'd been told she couldn't do. The first year after the accident had been the darkest. Depression became her constant companion as she watched life continue from her wheelchair. Then one day, while watching a documentary about a paralyzed climber who scaled El Capitan, something sparked within her. She started small, first wiggling her toes, then ankle exercises, followed by countless hours of rehabilitation. Progress was measured in millimeters, not miles. There were days when giving up seemed like the only option, but she kept pushing. 3 years into her recovery, she took her first unaided step. It wasn't graceful. She fell immediately, but she laughed through her tears. That single step became 2, then 10, then 100. She started hiking small trails, each one more challenging than the last. Now, as she took her first step up Mount Rainier, Sarah thought about all the people who said she couldn't do it. But more importantly, she thought about all those who supported her. Her dedicated physical therapist, her mother, who never lost faith, and the online community of survivors who shared their own stories of triumph. The climb was grueling. Every step tested her rebuilt body. Halfway up, a storm hit, and her guide suggested turning back. Sarah felt the old fear creeping in, the same fear she'd felt lying in that hospital bed. But she remembered her mantra: the only limitations that matter are the ones you accept. 16 hours later, Sarah stood at the summit. Tears froze on her cheeks as she looked out over the world below. She pulled out her phone and sent a simple message to her brother. Crazy works sometimes. Her story went viral in the climbing community, inspiring others facing their own mountains. Today, Sarah works as a motivational speaker, sharing her message with others. Your greatest obstacle isn't the mountain ahead of you, it's the doubt within you. But if you take it one step at a time, there's no peak too high to reach. Years later, when people ask her about her greatest achievement, Sarah never mentions the mountain. Instead, she talks about that first step in physical therapy. Because that's where she learned that the biggest mountains we climb are the ones within ourselves.